So today we are actually going to be doing something a little bit different. I was asked to share perhaps a few different types of yoga sequences that would apply to different things. And this yoga session is focused on diabetes prevention. And so, but it's not just for people who are looking for diabetes prevention poses. The poses can be good for just general relaxation, general circulation, and just a general good way to be mindful and be mindful of your body and your thoughts. So, that being said, I did want to share and prepare you all for a few props that I will be using. And you don't have to use these props, but if you have them, it's sometimes nice to try the poses using different things. So if you have a yoga strap, we'll be using that for one of the poses. I will show you a few different ways that we can use our yoga blocks. You have 2 yoga blocks. But if you just have perhaps 2 pillows, even just 1 pillow or a blanket, it will help ease our bodies into some of the poses and give us a little bit more support where we might need it. So just having a pillow or 2 pillows handy might be the simplest thing that you can do. So I'll give you a few more seconds, maybe a minute or 2 to get those ready, and I'll explain just a few different things that I've been learning, and I wanted to share about diabetes prevention and how yoga can be so good for it. So I'll explain the poses within the poses as well as to what they are addressing, but overall circulation. Yoga is wonderful for overall circulation. It is generally just a wonderful way to lower your stress levels. And when you lower your stress levels, you are in turn most likely lowering your blood pressure as well as your blood sugar. So that can be so beneficial when it applies to diabetes prevention. In addition to those, we'll be doing some poses, and a lot of the poses in general stimulate and kind of massage our abdominal area, which holds our organs, is connected to our endocrine system and the release of different secretions from our glands. So just being able to stimulate and have this part of our body getting into a good regulation of its systems is another benefit of yoga. So many different ways that yoga can be beneficial to diabetes prevention, but also just general health. So, so let's get started. All right. So coming to a comfortable seated position, I'm going to angle it because we will begin seated on our mats, either in a cross-legged position, if that feels comfortable, perhaps with your legs outstretched. Just feeling where your sits bones make contact with the mat. Bring your hands to your lap or perhaps on your knees, just resting them there. We will begin with our breathing. So first, just noticing what your breath feels like. Your inhale and then exhale. Perhaps softening your gaze or completely closing your eyes so you can just focus on the breath. Sitting up nice and tall. Just noticing the natural rhythm of your breath on your inhale and then your full exhale. This specific breathing practice that we will do today is called belly breathing. So bring your left hand Actually, bring both your hands to your belly and just place them on your belly, not pressing, just placing them there, no pressure at all. And what we will focus on our inhales, we will focus on inflating our belly like a balloon all the way to the top, and deflating that balloon, deflating your belly for your exhale. Again, inhale, inflating the balloon. Exhale, deflating that balloon. In a sense, contracting your stomach muscles helps you do so. Inhale, inflating that balloon. Exhale. Again, inhale, inflating that balloon. And exhale, letting all the air out, deflating that balloon. And inhale, full inhale all the way to the top. And on your exhale, slowly deflating that balloon, deflating your belly, feeling your belly go down. Again, full inhale. And then exhale. Inhale again, inflating that balloon. Exhale. Just feeling the movement of your belly. Just do this on your own for a few more breaths. See what it feels like when you inhale. And seeing what your belly feels like on the exhale. And just imagining that balloon inflating and then deflating. And then bringing your hands to your knees. Taking a few more breaths. Okay. So next we will come into a seated forward fold. So bringing your legs up in front of you. And perhaps if this feels too much to your legs, you can bring your pillow underneath. You can also bring your blocks. They're not quite as soft, but you could bring your blocks if you needed to. What we're doing, we're aiming to get our legs straight down to the mat. But again, if you need a little bit of support, do so. And we will also, I will demonstrate with a strap how we can do our forward fold. So I'll do it first without our strap. So sitting up nice and tall. Sits bones are making contact with the mat. Our spine, our back is nice and tall. Inhale, bring your arms overhead. And on your exhale, hinging forward. There you go. Hinging forward. So that means flat back, hinging forward. And just go to where you start to feel that really good stretch in your hamstrings and your legs. Then slowly just bring your hands down. Okay, inhale, come back up. We'll try it with the strap, or you could do it again without the strap. So if you're trying it with the strap, we are placing the strap right on the balls of our feet. Okay. And this time when we inhale, sitting up nice and tall, exhale, just hinging forward. So we're not pulling, we're just bracing ourselves with the strap. And as we hinge forward, flat back, exhale, coming down to the stretch a little deeper. Now, if you feel some give and you're able to inch your hands down your strap a little bit, do so. Still with your back nice and flat. Every inhale, feeling if there's some space, and then on your exhale, coming down just a little bit deeper. Remembering to keep a nice flat back. We're not arching our back or bending our back. Keeping it nice and flat. Hinging at the hip. We might feel this in a few different places. So just be mindful and breathing into those places that you can feel the work happening. On every inhale, feeling if there's some more space, and on your exhale, maybe going down a little farther, if you are able. And so this forward fold is really good because, as you can probably feel, it's compressing and massaging those abdominal organs and abdominal muscles, including our kidneys, including being able to just regulate and help with regulation of our digestive system. Every inhale, feel if there's some more space. Your exhale, if there's space to go a little deeper, go a little deeper. Breathing into those places that you can feel working. Being mindful and intentionally breathing, perhaps into your hamstrings, perhaps to that digestive system. Just a few more breaths. And of course, if you need to come out and come back in, do so. If you ever need to take a break, do so. Keeping your back nice and flat. We don't want to strain our backs. This is not a back stretch. Backs are nice and flat. And release. Okay. That's our forward fold again, stimulating and helping with our digestive system. So.
Why did you put these here?
Doing my class right now, that's why. Okay? So next, we will
trying to tell you that I'm having a sloppy poop again.
Okay, well, let Sarah help you, okay? All right, so bringing your legs back up, just placing them on the mat like so. We are going to come into a twist. So first, we will bring our left leg down to the mat, like we might if we're going into a cross-legged position. We will inch this right leg over, kind of rotating our hips, rotating our body forward. Excuse me. And if we are able to bring it across our leg, do so. If not, just bring it as close to your knee as possible. Hips are square to the front. Left leg is bent on the mat. So again, if you are able to cross it over there, bringing this out just a bit, you can probably already feel a little bit of a hip stretch happening. Okay. So on your next inhale, sitting up nice and tall. Your exhale, just grasping your upright knee, hooking it into your elbow, and twisting to the right. Bring your right hand down to the mat, fingertips down to the mat. Sitting up nice and tall, so the twist is happening in our spine, not in our hips. Hips are square to the mat, floor. Shoulders are rotating. Feel the stretch in all the way from our shoulders down to our hip flexors, really. Breathing in and out into the stretch. It's another wonderful stretch and pose for our abdominal system, our muscles, our digestive system in that area. and on this side. Back to neutral. And just inching your foot back. One face forward. Bringing our left leg back up, rocking it up. So next, we will bring our right leg down to the mat. Hips are square to the front. You can inch it up a bit, so it's almost at like a, not quite a 90-degree angle, but just open a little bit. Our foot is just a little bit farther away from our body. Inching your left foot this time, crossing it over your right, if you are able. If not, just remain right here. Just sitting up nice and tall, hips are square, a little bit facing this way. My hips are square, facing this way now. Sitting up nice and tall. Your next inhale, bringing your right arm, and hooking it around your left leg. Twisting to the left, bringing your left fingertips down to the mat. Gazing to the left. It's called Lord of the Fish. Wonderful spinal twist. Massages those abdominal organs, abdominal digestive system. Breathing in and out, continuing to get full breaths in, always full breaths out, never holding our breath. Breathing into the stretch, feeling it all the way from our hip flexors, and then opening twisting our spine and our shoulders open. Sitting up nice and tall. Hips are planted on the mat. The movement is just from our torso up. And breathe into the stretch. Just 2 more times and then we'll come out of it. And then release. Back to neutral. Okay. So we will be coming down, all the way laying down on our mat for the next pose. And if you are by a wall, I am actually not by a wall that can be viewed from the camera, so I won't demonstrate on the wall, but I will show you how you can. So slowly, slowly coming all the way down, perhaps holding onto your knees and just vertebrae by vertebrae coming down to your mat, engaging those core muscles. And just slowly massaging your back as you come down, vertebrae by vertebrae. In this pose, feet up pose. That's what I know it is. So what we will do is, if you are by a wall, just scooching your body as close to the wall as possible. And then bringing your legs up. If you're just on your mat like I am, just bringing your legs up. Not locking your knees. We never want to lock our knees, but just getting them nice and straight. Soles of our feet facing up to the ceiling. This is a wonderful stretch to improve our circulation, reduce stress, and of course, if there's any sort of swelling or any kind of fluid buildup in our legs, which are constantly, have gravity coming toward them with all the fluids of our body. So this is a wonderful inversion that flips the normal pull of gravity. So just staying here. And if you would like to just give your legs a little bit of support by holding your hands on either side of your thighs, that just makes them feel a little bit more secure. Do so. We'll stay here for at least a minute or two. And just continuing to breathe. If you're up to a wall and you're able to scoot your bottom all the way up to that wall and your legs are up on the wall, this is a wonderful restorative pose, relaxation pose. You could even relax even more because your legs are being supported by the wall as well. When I can get a space cleared off by a wall, I will demonstrate some poses on a wall as well, because there are some cool ones that you can do using the support of the wall. So just continuing to breathe in and out, just relaxing your body. A little bit of support on either side, not really holding, but for whatever reason, just the touch feels supportive. And breathe in and out. You can actually work on your belly breathing here. It feels a little bit different. So you have gravity pulling in a different direction. So you can inflate that belly. Inflate that belly in your exhale. Just a few more breaths, and we'll come out of this pose. All right, and while we're down here, just bring your knees into your body, just as far as feels comfortable, not too far to where you're you feel straight, just so it's comfortable. And just hugging gently, rocking gently side to side. We'll massage that lower back. Always good to do an opposing stretch. We come out from one direction to the other. Just gently rocking side to side. Okay, so to come up, you can roll over to one side, coming into a fetal position. Just resting your head here for a moment. Then using the arm that is up on the upper side of your body, pressing your body up. And again, being mindful if you have any sort of balance issues that happen when you go from one elevation to another, just giving yourself an extra moment to acclimate to that new elevation. I sometimes get these head rushes when I stand up too fast, and I have to just stand there for a second because I know I'm going to get a tiny bit dizzy. Sometimes, not all the time. All right. So, actually, we didn't have to get up, so we're going to come back down. Didn't have my cheat sheet. That's okay. So our next pose is called gentle pose. What it is, if you would prefer to do a pose seated, you can. This is like a butterfly pose. Opening your hips. And we're not pushing. We're just getting to a place where they can open on their own, wherever they fall. Breathing into that stretch. So this is one option. Second option, have your blocks handy. You can actually rest your legs on your blocks if it's feeling a little bit too stressful to just let them hang on their own, these blocks. So let's come down to the mat. I can show you how to do it on the mat as well. So keep doing that in your upright position if that's where you would like to stay. If you'd like to try it laying down, slowly coming down vertebrae by vertebrae. So again, slowly, your soles of your feet touching each other. wherever if you want your feet closer to your bottom or farther away, just try different ways and see what feels best. And then slowly opening your knees from one side to the other. And using the support of your blocks, that feels good. Yeah. Just placing your hands on your inner thighs. Again, just not pushing at all, but sometimes just the comfort of your own touch. Just connecting with your body that way is helpful. We're feeling a pretty good stretch in our groin area. Sometimes it's a little bit tense. It's placing your own touch, comfort of touch. So if you would like to keep your blocks there, you can. You can try moving your feet up a bit. And then just kind of shaking your knees open. Getting to that place where you feel a really good stretch. And just continue to breathe. In and out. Wonderful pose for relaxation. Also lower blood pressure, lower blood sugar. And again, the abdominal area. It's a little bit more relaxed. Most of that abdominal area is supposed to be pressure. At any point in time, you start to feel the stretch getting a little bit deeper. It starts to tremble just a little bit. If you're able to let that trembling happen, one thought that I had heard that little trembling is your perhaps be some trauma in your body that's being released. So just let it happen. If it's you can. If it's too much, of course, come out of it. That little bit of trembling, maybe a little bit of shaking, the release of perhaps some trauma that we hold in our bodies. Our hips are a place where we often hold trauma. Just letting that trauma be released. Shakes. Deep breaths. Full exhale, let go. You start to feel too much pressure either in your lower back or anywhere else in your body. Your blocks. So much support. You don't ever want to have that bad feeling. Challenging ourselves is good. But you know your body's best, so if that challenge becomes pain, you want to take a break and ease off of it. Restore to this one really well. So slowly, maybe using your hands to bring your legs back up. Feet lifted on the floor. We'll get up the same way that we did before, rolling to one side or the other. Pausing just for a moment. Exhale. And then pressing yourself up with your arm that is on the upper side. Okay. So for this next series, we're going to be moving just a little bit. We're going to be moving from a belly pose back to child's pose. So this is your body. This is the front of your body. We are going to be coming down and then moving back. But we're going to be facing forward, coming down to our bellies. So if that is a pose, I know some people are not able to lay on their bellies. Again, just coming to a comfortable seated position and working on your breath while we do that would be the best thing. Okay. Coming onto your knees. slowly coming to your knees. Knees about hip width distance apart. Having your pillow available. So just see what this feels like first for child's pose. If you are able to come into child's pose, your hands to tabletop, hips are square, shoulders are square. But now bringing your knees open just a tad, close to the outer edges of your mat, but not all the way. You would like a little bit of a wider stance, you can. And then coming back onto your pillow to give you a little bit more support. And seeing what that feels like. Outstretching your arms. Head comes down to the mat. Seeing what that feels like. If that feels good, just keeping it there. If you don't think you need it, go ahead and take it off. Coming back down, settling back into this pose. Forehead on the mat. Arms outstretched, palms on the mat. Knees are about mat width. Toes are almost touching behind you. Belly is in the space between your legs. Just breathing into the stretch for a couple breaths. This is also letting your spine decompress. Sometimes if I angle my body just right, I can just feel my spine decompressing and even stretching and sometimes popping a little bit, but not in a bad way. You get to be more in tune with your body. You can feel how stretches can do things like that. Slowly coming up, bringing your body forward. This time, bring your knees back to hip width distance apart. Hands are directly underneath your shoulders. Actually, bring your hands a little bit forward. I'm almost off the mat, but bring your hands a little bit away from your shoulders. You're going to be coming into a half plank. So for this position, if your knees need a little bit more support, you need to put that pillow or perhaps just another blanket underneath your knees, do so. So your body is, your torso and your bum is completely in line with your torso and your head. And we'll stay here just for one breath. Inhale, and on your exhale, coming down, your elbows hugging your ribs all the way down. Get off my mat, but that's okay. Forehead down to the mat. We're going to come into upward dog. Too bad my dog's not doing this with us. She can do it really well. We will come into upward dog or to cobra. So if you want to do cobra, cobra is a little bit less intense. I'll show you cobra first. So keeping your hands directly underneath your shoulders and using your back muscles, your abdominal muscles. Slowly bring your body up. Gaze forward just a bit. So just staying here, breathing into the stretch. Coming back down. Now the next pose that we will try is upward dog. So engaging your hands a little bit more because we are going to be pressing this time. Pressing and pushing all the way up. Hands are more directly underneath our shoulders. Shoulders away from your ears. This is kind of intense if you haven't tried it before. Gaze is up towards the ceiling. Feeling that really good stretch in our backs, but not to a point where it's hurting, just where it's a good stretch. Inhale. Exhale, coming back into child's pose, widening those legs. Then settling in, bringing that pillow for support if you need it, like so. Your hands outstretched in front of you. Forehead comes down to the mat. Just letting it go, letting that spine decompress. Upper body is relaxed, just submitting and coming down to the earth, almost being one with the earth, just letting our bodies melt into the earth. We're not flexing any of our muscles right here, just submitting and letting go. All right. So your next inhale, back up the tabletop, bring your knees about hip width distance apart. Hands are underneath your shoulders to begin with, but let's bring them maybe 2 inches forward. Making our torso, our bum, everything in a straight line, engaging our core, shoulders away from our ears to our plank, our modified plank. Coming down, sinking down. This time we're just going to sink down into upward dog. So plank is here. Plank is where we're engaging our core. Everything is straight. Sink down. Coming into upward dog. Letting go. Not engaging that core anymore. Just feeling the stretch. So engaging your core. Pushing back. Opening our knees. Save your just a few more breaths. Just letting go, let your body sink into that. Not holding on to any tension or stress, just letting it go. Every exhale, just let go. Walk your hands back. Back to your knees. We'll actually come back all the way down. See this. And then all the way laying down for Shavasana. So again, we come all the way to our laying down position. Come down slowly, holding onto our knees perhaps, and just vertebrae by vertebrae, letting our upper body slowly in contact with the mat, engaging. Core muscles a bit. Like to lay on your pillow, you can. This is nice to just let your body all flat, flush up against the mat. You have a blanket or something to cover up with to be more comfortable. So as we bring our awareness back to our breath, our bodies, for resting and rebuilding this resting pose. It's just an example. something that is so essential to our life, giving our bodies, ourselves that opportunity to rest, build, and sleep, of course, even throughout the day, giving ourselves that opportunity to just have a few moments quiet, time. Exhale, the mind is wandering and just gently comes back to the focus. Ready. Start bringing small movements back to your body. Fingers, toes, your feet, side to side. Gently rubbing your head, side to side. And slowly rolling over to one side or the other into fetal position. Resting your head on your hands as a pillow. Your breath in and out here, as many as you need. Then slowly pressing yourself up to seated. And just being mindful of that change of elevation, giving yourself the time it needs, the nurturing it needs from one position to the other. And as we end, I'll just say, miigwech, thank you for joining me today for this diabetes prevention series. And we'll do this one again, and perhaps I'll try a few poses and a place where I could show you the wall pose, which is a good one, as well as a few more poses that are a little bit more active, so we'll build our way up to that. But thank you, and look forward to seeing you once again. Higa Wabaman.